The pandemic parking lot. Airlines for America reports 30% of commercial jets are grounded right now as demand has just fallen off. And last week, the average flight had just 66 passengers. Future bookings are struggling too. The industry did get billions to keep their workers on the payroll, but that deal ends this week. Will Congress have enough runway to get a new airline bailout package off the ground in time to prevent several carriers from executing mass furloughs and layoffs? Without billions more in aid, by October 1st, Fort Worth-based American has announced that it'll have to cut another 19,000 jobs. Dallas-based Southwest isn't planning any furloughs, but about 17,000 staffers there have already taken a buyout or extended leave. Just remember, it is bigger than these individual companies. In fact, there's a stat that says for every 100 airline jobs, about 300 jobs are supported outside the airline industry. In fact, Airlines for America estimates that aviation supports more than 600,000 jobs in Texas and makes up almost 4% of all jobs in the state. So what happens to airlines and their employees can be felt widely here, so we're going to keep on watching this closely in the days to come. Some extra info at Jason Wheeler TV, your destination to remain right on the money.